If it tells you what kind of day it is, I almost said good morning. So we got that going for me. How you doing there, Lance?
Not doing bad. How you doing, bud?
Wow, doing well. Oh, awesome. Meetup.com is down. That's fun.
Wasn't for me.
Yeah, I just tried to refresh the page. Gateway timeout. Ah, there it is. What ship are you on over there? You're on mute. You're on the mute ship is what ship you're on.
I'm on mute. I'm on the Death Star.
Nice.
Yeah, I just thought it would be appropriate. How you doing, John?
Pretty well. I'm on Zoom at work kind of a lot lately.
Yeah,
like
I was going to say, you
like
must be sick of this.
We've been doing war rooms, so I'm on for like 6-7 hours a day for the past week. So I had stepped away to go to the bathroom. And so one of my friends at work snapped a shot of my room. And so they've been using that as their background. So it was, everybody was working at my house.
That's perfect.
It was pretty entertaining.
Nice. I see a familiar face right there. Hi, Lydia Roberts. Yeah, mute.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
How's it going on the trying to think of the name of that ship and can't because I can't make words.
Death Star.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I only know because I asked.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that a new tattoo? Is that a new tattoo?
No, I've always had it.
Oh, I don't remember seeing that one.
Probably had a jacket on or something.
Yeah. All right.
It's Vegas. Everybody else wears jackets, of course. Oh wait, that's not true. Never. All right. Let's dive in. Got some fun stuff to cover tonight. All right. So let's do the normal introductions, which is hello, my name is John Hawkins. I'm the organizer of WordPress Meetup Las Vegas. I am kind of curious, do we have anybody here who this is their first time hanging out with us? Oh, everybody seems pretty familiar. All right, I'm going to just go with I know all of y'all. Good deal. So this isn't going to be anything new currently, but can you guys see my screen that shows meetup.com? Yeah, okay, cool. All right, so I've been having a problem with accidentally sharing the wrong screen lately, and whoopsie, that's fun. So I assume you guys are all signed up on meetup.com. If not, you probably didn't get this link, so you weren't here, which is a totally weird thing. So I'm glad to see you all made it here. If you aren't actually signed up for the group, please do. We passed 2,000 members recently, which is kind of insane to me. We started this group with, I've told this story a few times, but when I very first started the meetup, it was 3 people. It was me, a buddy who didn't use WordPress, and my extremely non-technical wife. We were at a bar drinking beer. It was a fantastic meetup. We didn't talk about WordPress, I don't think at all, but it was a great meetup. And fast forward something like 10 years now, or 9 years, and we're at 2,000 members. It is just insane. If you are not taking frantic notes during this call, you can hop over to wpvegas.com. These sessions are recorded and the entire videos are up. So you can see October, August. We didn't do one in September because we joined a different meetup for that time. They're actually meeting right this minute, or today as well, which is was just bad timing, or else I would have promoted theirs as well. But anyway, so you can go and get the recordings and or show notes from past events. If you haven't done so already, on WP Vegas, click on Slack, and you're going to get over here to this form and join in on Slack. I've been spending a fair amount of time on there, and yeah, it's a good place to hang out and chit chat. Also, if you are into that whole Facebook thing, we do have a Facebook group which has something like 500 members, I think, somewhere in that general area. Yeah, there it is, 509. So if you have questions, this is another great place to ask them during the month while you're waiting for this meetup to come around. We do have some pretty knowledgeable folks in there, which is great, because then you get a much wider net to cast. So, so that's that. So I'm going to stop with that one. And I'm going to just jump in to a quick presentation here. Hold on. You're welcome. I found the mute button before sneezing in all of your ears. That was pretty good. All right, so it's going to be a good day. All right, so here's how this presentation came about. Over the past few months at work, I have been working on a events management tool for, I work for an in-house, it's all in-house. It's not for a client, it's for my employer. And we are going to run online meetups and conferences, events, etc. And as part of that, we needed a lot of membership management, user levels, quote unquote hidden data, single sign-on. Like it's a very large, complex piece of software that I've been working on, and it has been an absolute ton of fun, which is awesome. Follow that up right after I kind of got not finished, but through a large part of what I was building. Somebody else that I know from here in Vegas actually reached out to me about a project that had to do with some membership stuff. And so we're using, I believe we're using Restrict Content Pro or something like that. We're one of the typical ones that you would think of. But as I was doing it, you know, Restrict Content Pro, I love it. It's awesome, but it's, you know, it's got a cost to it. It's a couple $100. Membership, our MemberPress is another great membership plugin. But if you're just starting out, also, it's, you know, it's got a cost. And so once you start working down that road, some of the costs can kind of start to add up. Now, if you are building a business, I always try to talk people out of trying to go for the absolute cheapest process known to man, because this is a business. You should probably pay for the stuff that you know to be good and solid and reputable, and it's probably just a better way to go. That said, there are a number of free plugins that you can use to kind of put together a bit of a membership site what I'm going to show you this evening is a collection. This isn't just about building a membership site. And why I actually decided to show this was because there are a lot of aspects that people always are asking me about, having to do with like blocking visitors from the dashboard and showing menu items that are specific to certain groups, this, that, the other. And so kind of wrapping all of that around the idea of a membership type site just seemed like a really good idea. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. This won't take super long here, but I did lose my notes. Where are they? There they are. Cool. Okay. So this is a website. You can actually go to it, meetup.j9s.dev, and it's got a lot of fake data. These are all a bunch of blog posts. By the way, if you do have questions, please feel free to chime in. I love questions. So what I've done is I used a plugin called FakerPress to generate a whole bunch of fake content for this. So I think I've got like 40 blog posts or whatever. But then what I've done is I've kind of set up what is kind of the basics of what you might need. So you've got like a contact form, an about us form. Maybe you have some customer information, just a general customer information page. Maybe you've got a supplier information page. Don't try to think about this too literally as far as what exactly is being shown, as far as like the problem that I'm solving. Think more in terms of how this might kind of apply to something that you're working on. So these, let's just say, for example, these were a couple of, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I even wrote down the order that I was going to talk about these things in. So let's just say, for the sake of example, you needed to create memberships. Now, there is a free plugin called Members, which I should have had up, but I don't, and that's okay. So here is the Members plugin. This plugin was, this is free, available in the repo. And it was actually recently purchased by the folks at MemberPress. So you will see this upgrade to MemberPress. But I will tell you that every single plugin on this particular subsite right now is a free plugin. I haven't paid for anything. So when I'm dealing with members of any sort, so this doesn't even have to be like a paid membership, but if I'm any sort of content type that I might want to lock down, like let's say that I've got maybe not the typical admin, author, contributor, editor, subscriber, but maybe I've got somebody like customers and suppliers that I want to give certain access to. So with the Members plugin, you can come over here to Members, and I like to take the subscriber, which is the default role. So if you click on this, it will actually show you all of the different capabilities that that this particular role, the subscriber role, has. So it has read, and if you loop through all of these, you'll see that it has read, nothing, 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 nothing. So this particular role, if we go back to the beginning, actually you'll even see it right here, how many of the different capabilities, the standard capabilities that are built into WordPress, how many of those are granted to each individual person. So this particular, the subscriber role, it only has one. They're allowed to read, and that's it. So I like to start with this as the base, because you know that you're not accidentally granting them more than you might want. So there's a nice little tool here called Clone. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create 2 copies of this. So the first one I'm going to call Customers. Wow. Customers. And I'm going to just add that. And I'm going to come back over here. And so now you can see I've got my customers, and they've got one as well. And I'm going to go ahead and clone it one more time, and I'm going to call this one Suppliers. Now, for the developers in the room, I want to show you one other cool little thing, which is, and we're not going to dive into this too terribly far, but there is the opportunity to add custom capabilities. So let's just say, for example, I wanted to have a supplier email supplier read email. I can create a new custom capability and attach it to the suppliers. So now this supplier now has 2 of these granted. So if I wanted to, if I was going to build a plugin and wanted to do things, I could then check against whether or not the current user who was logged in, whether or not they have that new role that I just created, the read email role. So, but we're not gonna dive into that. So all I'm really going to do at this particular point is I'm going to show you that I've got subscribers, I've got customers, along with my other standard roles. So now, if I go over to the Users tab, you can see right here, I've already created a couple of test users here. Here's a supplier, and then here's a customer. So if I edit this particular person right here, this is a supplier. I now have the opportunity to come down here to the roles, and I have a couple of different options here. And this is a little bit interesting because I could, am I on the supplier? I'm on the supplier, okay. I could go like this and make it so that he has both subscriber level and supplier level. I typically don't like to do that. I will almost always remove them out of everything that is not specific to them. And this, again, this has a lot to do with just those bleeding over of the different capabilities. Now, we already know that these 2, technically speaking, have the same, but even still, I would much rather have them in just one. So I'm going to go ahead and make this person a supplier. And if I go, let's go take the customer, and we're going to put him into the customers. Cool. So now if I go back and if I look at my all users, you can see up here I've got 3 people who are users. I've got an admin, that's me. I've got 1 that's a customer and 1 that's a supplier. So when we create those roles in the members area, they bleed across the entire site, which is super, super handy. So now that we've done that, let's just say we want to lock down those pages that we created, customer info and supplier info. We don't want these to be available to the general public. We actually only want to show that content. Maybe we have special pricing or some downloads that we want on that page that we don't want anybody else to have unless they're a customer. So I'll go to the page and I'll just click on edit. So the members plugin lets us, if we scroll down here at the bottom, you're going to get a content permissions block down here at the bottom. So right now, it's open to everybody. It's not limited to anybody. So I'm going to go ahead and I keep forgetting customer. Okay. So I'm going to lock this down to customers. So if I, for the moment, if I go into an incognito mode, so I'm no longer logged in. Go here and I go to the customer page, you can see that I've got access to the page. So now if I click on limit this access to customers and hit update, and I refresh my incognito window, sorry, but you do not have permission to view this content. I think there may even be a way of I think I can do that, right? If I do that, let's see if I update this. Yeah, so I could go through and make a special error message that says exactly what I want it to do. So maybe I could link this off to either a login or sign up to be a customer. So none of the content is going to be shown to anybody who is not a customer. So let's just go ahead and do that one more time. Do that over here to the suppliers as well. Cool. So if I go to the suppliers, sure enough. Okay, awesome. Well, now that we've done that, the next part of this process, we know that people are going to be logging in to our website. And, you know, if I go to Vegas Geek, try to log in, I get the standard WordPress login. If you're trying to build a business, this right here is not a great look, right? You probably want people to get a better look at your site, which, you know, obviously I'm just using the default WordPress theme at the moment, but you get the concept. You want them to kind of see your logo. You want them to see your look and feel, your header, your footer. Not this. Bad. No bueno. There is a plugin that I use called, oh, actually it's right here. It's called Theme My Login. And I'll tell you, at this particular moment, I have done nothing other than install and activate this plugin. But what this allows us to do now is if I click on login, actually, even if I were to try to hit the dashboard, WP-admin, it's going to redirect me to a /login. It didn't actually create a page. It just kind of hijacks the URL /login. And I can now log in. So I'm going to go ahead and log in as a customer. So when I log in, it actually just redirected me back to the home page. And now, if I click on the customer info, I should be able to see that, but I still can't see that. Awesome. You'll notice also that this link now that I'm logged in actually says log out. And if I log out, it'll go back to saying log in. And I'll talk about that in just a minute as I get to the next little piece of this, which is because I have this specific customer information page, if a customer logs in, what I probably want to do is take them right to the customer information page. So rather than sending them to back to the home page where they then have to kind of go figure out where to go next, there is another plugin I use called, actually it's ridiculous. The name of the plugin is Peter's Login Redirect. Now, I believe Theme My Login will let you decide where you want different things. This actually is where things will, like what the URL structure is going to be: dashboard, login, registration, etc. I thought you could. Never mind, it doesn't do what I thought it did. Okay, cool. So that plugin, Peter's Login Redirect, will give you a new menu item over here called Login Logout Redirects. And this is super powerful because it allows you to do a ton of different things. So you can decide based on not only just a general login where that person is going to go, but you can also decide, you could do it at a per user basis. So I could type I could say, when John logs in, I want him to go to this URL. And if you want John to go to google.com, you can absolutely do that. Probably not handy, but you could do it. Down here are specific roles. So you can see we've got our customers and our suppliers. And so that's what I'm going to do here. So that's where I want them to log out. And then if they, when they go to hit log out, I want them to go to the dashboard, to the main page. So now if I log in, you'll see I'm taking exactly where I want them to go. So I could do another one for the subscribers, etc. Remember we created that specific one. What did we call it? We called it subscriber. Right there, supplier read email. So we created that one particular additional bit of the other capability. We can actually tie that here as well. So if somebody has a particular capability, we can decide where they want to go. So kind of handy as well. And then all other users. So if you have a generic page where you want everybody to go rather than just the login, you can do that as well. Let's see. Okay, that's that. View my login, Peter's redirect. Okay, so now let's talk about the menu a little bit. So this menu right here, there's no real good reason to have a link to the customer info if you're not a customer. Like, I think it's kind of poor user experience if I'm logged out and I click on a link and it says, hey, you don't have access to this. Because, I don't know, that just seems kind of bad form. So there is a plugin I use for that as well. It is called If Menu, IF Menu. And if we go to Appearance, we go to Menus, you'll see I've already created my menu here. Contact Us, Contact About, etc., etc., etc. The Theme My Login plugin has a login and log out. That's what I'm using here. So if the user is logged in, this one just doesn't show. And if they're logged out, this one doesn't show. And so it just kind of flip-flops. I do have a different plugin that I use. It is called, what is it called? Login or log out menu items. And I actually like this plugin. If you're going to be using Theme My Login, you may as well just use the tools that are right here. But there is this one right here, which ends up being just kind of one menu item to deal with rather than two. This. So log in, log out, and it basically does the same thing. If you're logged in, it shows log out, vice versa. So, okay, now the way that if menu works is, so let's just say I don't want this customer info to show up unless you're a customer. When you click on here, you will see an option for enable visibility rules. So if I click on this, I now have the ability to either show or hide based on a number of things. So I could base it on a user role. I could base it on a page type, if they're on mobile or right to left or a specific language. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show this if they are customer. And I'll show this one if they are a supplier. I believe you can stack these as well. You can do an and or an or and add additional items in here. We obviously don't need to do that. I just added this, and that's probably a bad idea. I'll just make this supplier again. That was a really dumb idea. Delete that? I don't know. It stays for now. That's fine. So now if I refresh, I am logged in as a customer, so I do expect customers to stick around, but the supplier info goes away. And if I log out, they both go away. So now we're kind of getting a lot closer to what we would be a nice, comfortable, like this starts to feel like a real actual website that somebody might pay to start using. There are a couple of different things that we could also do, and I forgot to install a plugin for it, but we could hide the admin dashboard or the admin bar up here, which would be another good thing that we could do. And I'm sure we can go find a plugin for that in just a second. But the other thing that I've installed is a plugin where if they try to hit the dashboard by going to WP admin, even if they're logged in, they're automatically redirected somewhere else. So that plugin is called, and I'll include links to all of these in the show notes when we do this, but it's called Remove Dashboard Access. Very, very simple. You can decide who you want to have access. So I can say dashboard access is for admins only, editors and admins, authors, editors, admins, or again, I could do that capability and say if they were supplier read email, they could also have that. Or in this particular case, this would be only, which I'm not going to click that because I have a feeling it'll log me out. Let's go to admins. There we go. And you can also decide where you want them to redirect if they try to access the dashboard. So you can send them here, or you can send them to a registration page, a login page, buy now page, whatever. This is another good one, which is user profile access. So even though I'm not allowed to visit the quote unquote dashboard, pardon me, right now I do have it set up to allow for editing the profile. So in theory, I could get here and access this to edit my profile. I typically turn this off in a situation like this. So hit save. If I hit refresh, it's going to just refer me right back to the dashboard or the front page. So that's it. This is a total of 6 plugins, all free. The one thing that I don't have in here, you'll notice, is I don't have any sort of way to sign up. There is a, in the, where is it? In my login, registration, there it is. Yeah, so registration is not currently allowed. So if we did want to allow people to register, we need to go to our settings, turn on anyone can register. Now, what I would see is I would see a form where I could input a username and email, and then I could register. And if I did this, they would come in as a subscriber level, but I could also set that to say, hey, anybody who signs up is a customer, something like that. Probably not the way that I would do this. What's that? Somebody have a question? Oh, Mary?
Oh,
All right. Cool. So a lot of options here. A lot of options. You can kind of mix and match any of these plugins. You could use any of them. You could use all of them. But a lot of them do kind of work real nicely together to kind of put together an easy to use, minimal effort membership site. I put this together in about 30 minutes or 40 minutes, just plugging in some stuff. Obviously, the next thing would be, how do you get members to then sign up and maybe pay? So what I would do in a situation like that, that's probably, there are forms out there that will allow you, like form plugins. I think Contact Form 7 has a free, is a free plugin. There's other plugins. I typically would use, myself, I would go with Gravity Forms, because Gravity Forms, if you were looking to have people maybe pay to sign up to be in your group, then you could easily set up with Gravity Forms connected to Stripe and then have that pay, and then at the end automatically put them into the customers, giving them that level of access. So there you go. That is kind of that in a nutshell. Anybody have any questions? I'm going to take a drink while you guys ponder your questions.
John?
Yeah.
Baseline. What was the name of that plugin that you could enable visibility rules from the menu?
For the menu, it is called If Menu.
If menu.
So here you go. This is actually the entire list of plugins that are installed. So, SpinUp WP is from where I host my sites or manage my sites, SpinUp WP, and Limit Login. So, and FakerPress. So these 3 plugins, other than that, these are the 6 that really manage the site, which is If Menu, Login or Logout menu items, Members, Peter's Login redirects, Remove Dashboard Access, and Theme My Login. Theme My Login does have some extensions as well. So if you wanted to do things like have a page, the login page where it like signs them up to MailChimp at the exact same time, they as they register, they just go right into there. there's a ton of different ones here. So there's a whole bunch of different options, but you can, again, the whole idea is you can quote unquote theme your login. I think you can, I find you can even kind of build templates for it, but I might be thinking about a different one. This one is just so easy to use because it literally just applies all of the login and logout forms, all of those registration, everything to your existing theme. So if you swap out another theme, it just ends up looking good right out of the box.
Hey, John, I don't know if you know this, but can you add custom capabilities to the members plugin?
Custom capabilities.
Yeah, to the members plugin. You were saying you could assign capabilities to specific roles.
Yes.
So if you were a plugin developer, you could make your own custom capabilities.
Oh, for sure. Well, yeah. I mean, like I did for the, which I think I did it for the supplier. Yeah, you can actually add them right here. So once you add them here, if you add one here, it's basically added automatically. It's there and it's ready to go behind the scenes.
Cool.
Yeah. Super handy. Like, and first off, it's probably the easiest way to add custom capabilities. 1, 2, just from a visibility standpoint and being able to kind of see, like at a quick glance, like okay, I know by default admins are supposed to have 51, editors are 26, etc. If you install additional plugins, you could always come back to this site here or to this page and then see what changed here, and then kind of get an idea, because like WooCommerce adds different stuff and like tons of different plugins add different bits of their roles. So which becomes interesting. Maybe not necessarily like while you're trying out plugins, you can install something and it adds stuff, then you remove that plugin and maybe that stuff didn't go away. So good times. Right. So the next thing I'm going to show you was requested by Darcy. It is that time of year again where it is time for Black Friday sales, and I hold off on purchasing WordPress plugins for just such an occasion. This page right here on my website, my recommendations, this is a list of all of the different things that I typically use for whatever, all plugins, even some outside tools. I really need to update this. I haven't done it in a while, but I did create a Black Friday page. I will tell you that on that recommendation page, any of those that are kind of paid, it's probably a good idea that you could just go through and test every single one of those come next week. But I did put together ones where I've already received confirmation about different Black Friday deals, Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Gravity Forms, they always do one. WP Engine has one with a coupon code attached. So Namecheap is where I purchase all of my domains, but also if you want really inexpensive hosting, or if you want really inexpensive email, if you don't want to pay I think it's $8 a month now, $6 or $8 a month for Google G Suite. With Namecheap, you can get email accounts for, I think it works out to about $5 a year or $6 a year or something like that. I have used it I don't use it for like Vegas Geek, but I do use it for a couple of like other ones where I want them to have a specific like format, like a domain level email account. And it's good. It's as good as any. If for something that I don't use super frequently, it's pretty nice. I will say that their email does require to use their web dashboard for email, so it's not something I'm sure you could get it on your phone, but I've never kind of needed that, so I haven't. Astra theme, I put this here. I don't use Astrotheme. Typically, I only put stuff on the page that that I use personally, and all of these others I do. Astra, I don't, but it's so popular right now, and they do have a early Christmas. I went ahead and threw it on the list. Beaver Builder, which is pretty much my favorite of the page builders at this point, and then the Power Pack. So the Power Pack is stop. Open that in a new window. There we go. I use this. They do have some really cool additional modules that you can go check out. Content modules. They've got a ton of different stuff, and they're adding more stuff all the time. So this, if you got like half a day to kill, you could just kind of go through this list and click on every single link, because who doesn't have half a day to kill? I mean, nobody leaves the house anymore, right? Lead generation stuff, form stylers, which this, I mean, I kind of think that this plugin is probably worth it all by itself for Gravity Forms styling, but anyway, so that's that. Pretty Links Pro, which is if you, I like to, like a lot of my links, you'll notice if you hover over them, like this link goes to vegasgeek.com/gravityforms. And why I like that is behind the scenes, it'll track how many times it's been viewed and then how many times it's been clicked. So I can get a general idea of if I've got links on certain pages on my website, I can actually see how well they're doing without having to go fight through Google Analytics to go figure that out. MemberPress, which we talked about earlier. WP Rocket, if you're looking to upgrade your page speed, WP Rocket is almost a must. AppSumo. Anybody here use AppSumo? Yeah, I thought for sure it was going to be Darcy raising her hand. They have a page which I don't know because, and you'll see why I don't know here in just a second.
What's that great?
Is that they've got something going on and it's starting in 4 days, and apparently it's supposed to be 15 of the top deals. So whatever their 15 top deals have been like over the last year or two, I guess, are going to be available again. So, hey Mary, I don't know if you know this, but you're not on mute. Did you have? I can mute you if you'd like. I'll do that. Okay. Yeah, so like AppSumo, these aren't necessarily 100% just WordPress tools. As a matter of fact, a lot of them are marketing related, maybe page speed related, SEO related. They're kind of all over the map with what they offer, but they do have some really, really cool features that come up from time to time. I've probably bought way too many things from them, and yeah, I'm a nerd. I buy them and then like I mess with them, and whether or not you have the exact right project to use it at that time or not, I don't know. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. So there you go. It's definitely worth checking out though. I think this one right here, Descara, is really cool, but I don't have a use for it. But if you are looking, this is an $1,100 deal for $149. But if you want to run accounting, payroll, HR, CRM, all wrapped in one, holy smokes. I downloaded it and checked it out. I did not pay for it, I will tell you. It's awesome. It looks just great. I just don't need it.
Systems, which I was quite.
What's that?
Descara was even recommended by Cisco Systems, so that's really, it has excellent reviews.
Yeah.
160 reviews and being a 4.66 really.
Yeah, and I mean,
testament to it. And my friend, I picked it up for a friend of mine. I haven't tried it out yet myself.
For a 90% discount, I mean, it's
Right
that was
next
kind
to it, the Elements kit. I haven't tried that one yet, but it's got good reviews there for if you're using Elementor. There was another AppSumo deal for a different Elementor add-on about a year ago that I've really liked. So yes, you can, on the left-hand side under current offers, you can click on categories Or that, yeah. If you,
Yeah.
because if you click on categories as well, they actually have a word.
43 WordPress ones. Awesome. Yeah, there's a ton of just really cool stuff in here. So.
Some are cool, some are.
Some are you get what you pay for.
Yeah, you know, a lot of these are
Oh,
a lot of these are startup type things, but some of them are well established. I got Wishlist member on.
yeah.
Got lifetime deal on that, and so it's a good thing to do. And
Yeah,
then if you look
definitely.
at Briefcase, are you familiar with Briefcase?
I'm not.
Okay, so let me drop a link in here for all. Oh gosh, my things. Briefcase.hq, and they, yeah. So it's part of AppSumo, and what's cool is if you do the Briefcase, there's a quarterly for $147, and you get 4 chips that you link into your AppSumo account. So you're basically getting 4 for the price of 3, or buy 3 get 1 free in a sense, and you get 10% off. So most AppSumo deals now, they're kind of bumping up. They used to mostly be $49, and now they're doing a lot of $59. So you'd have that $49 chip, and then you'd save an extra 10% on that other $10. And you know, so if you're stacking deals, you can save quite a bit, and also it puts you in that plus category of an AppSumo user. And once in a while, they extend deals or make the deals only available to plus members. So that gives you that option. So that is a quarterly, 147 quarterly. But if you're a lifetime deal junkie like me, it's a good.
So speaking of deal junkie, one of the other reasons why I do this, why I will end up purchasing stuff that I don't even necessarily need, but I'll buy the developer license for a lot of these things, and I'll do it during the Black Friday deal, for not only because you're saving a bunch of money now, but almost all of these end up being a subscription-based tool. So but you get the discount year over year. So whatever you paid, you actually get that same price or even a discount. I think when I bought Restrict Content Pro last year or the year before, like I ended up getting it for like $79, and then now it it re-ups at like 47 or something like that, which is just ridiculous, because it's just such a crazy valuable product. So anyway, so there's that. While you're here, also, I will go ahead and show you, I have my Pay It Forward deal going on, which costs you $50. You get 30 minutes of my time, and we give all of the money to charity for open source mental illness. So, so there's that. I won't dwell on that, but there you go. Well, we're 46 minutes into a 2-hour meetup, and I'm going to say we are opening this up to questions because...
I was going to just make a note for people to think about that, look at the fine print or whatnot when you do the Black Friday deals, because like SiteGround may have really amazing Black Friday deal hosting packages, but then they renew at ridiculously high amounts. So take a look at what you're, you get a really killer deal on Black Friday, you may or may not be getting renewed at the rate that you got in on. So just point that out.
Good point. So I'm going to for just a second, say, John D., you have by far the best background going on. Not just, I love the scrolly bar, and I'm really curious, what are you using to do that?
I just started playing with this week. Yeah, it's all new to me too.
That's awesome.
I'm using OBS Studio.
Okay.
And I bought a good Linux box with like a good GPU, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, you can stream basically whatever you want right into Zoom.
Nice.
So whatever.
That's very cool. I have a buddy who is he's getting into streaming on Twitch, and he's doing a lot of gaming related stuff. But he just got this little it's like a separate little unit, it's a little box, and it's got like 16 buttons on it, and so you can basically attach different elements to each of the buttons. So like, I want this screen to happen, or I want that video to play, or this, and so it's just kind of like your own little push button producer. That is,
It's a whole subculture. I mean, they
oh,
have
it really is.
these little gizmos you can buy, physical.
Why is it a year out?
Yeah.
Because he wants to make this road that goes all.
I'm on it now. I know what's up. I got it. Cool. Yeah. OB software, OB Studio. This is, I did either last weekend or the weekend before. I had a project that I was going to work on for in WordPress, and so I decided that I was going to just stream the process of me figuring it out. So it was basically 2 hours of me swearing at WordPress, which was fun.
Did anybody watch it?
No, and it was just as well. It was great. So I have 0 followers on Twitch, but if you're interested, go to twitch.com/VegasGeek.
You have the same number of followers I have.
Yes, awesome, fantastic. But I did it more as a test to just kind of see like what the process was, and I have a feeling just doing it off a generic MacBook Pro, trying to stream, running MAMP, everything was just bringing it to his knees. So if anybody was watching, they hated me the entire time. I'm just certain of that. So, but yeah, that's cool. I will I'm gonna check that out. Cool. Anybody have any WordPress questions? Anything you guys want me to show off or talk about? Hit me. Go ahead, Darcy.
Just regarding hosting, because I'm really frustrated. I used to be so in love with SiteGround, but they've made so many changes over the last year, and their customer service has gone to oblivion. And I'm just curious what everybody's in this day and age for hosting.
I have 2.
Same exact question.
All right, cool. I have 2. One is if you want managed hosting. I still think WP Engine is right at the top. It is almost impossible to beat their technical support. Their support team 24/7 is fast and smart. I never once have felt like I have gone to the most junior level guy first and then had to like explain the same thing 27 times. I've never had that happen. I think WP Engine is great. My problem with WP Engine is a lot of the sites that I host are like super small, or even kind of like throwaway. Like for tonight, like I put this up as a separate website, this Meetup site. I installed this on my server. If I was on WP Engine, that would have taken one of my slots, right? You get like, it's 1 or 10, I think are their levels. So depending on how many sites that you need. But also if you have a site that is ridiculously heavily trafficked, that can really throw your pricing through the roof at WP Engine, because they do have a kind of like a per page view type thing. So if you have sites and you don't mind spending about $1,200 a year for hosting, meaning you probably want a client paying some portion, if not all of that, WP Engine is my answer. However, I have moved all of my sites now. I actually use DigitalOcean. So DigitalOcean I use DigitalOcean. I'm going to pull this up in a separate window because I don't know that I can show you everything here. Bear with me 1 second. All right, this is fine. So on DigitalOcean, they have several products, and I use these things called droplets, and they start at $5 a month, and they go up from there. I currently have 2 droplets with them, and one of them, I think I'm at $40 a month for one and $20 a month for the other. And between the 2 of them, I host, between the 2 of them, I host about 30 sites, give or take. But one of those sites gets something like 1.5 million views a month. So, and that site is actually on a server with 17 other sites. And even with that level of traffic, even when they spike in traffic, I'm hitting roughly 40% of the resource limits. So CPU and memory usage and disk IO, which is, so I will say that going about this way, what I then use is I use something called SpinUp WP. So SpinUp WP is, let's see if this will take me to the right spot. Oh, let's go over here. Get to the sales site. SpinUp. Let's try that. Okay, so I think anybody who knows me knows that I'm a gigantic fan of MigrateDB Pro. It is, I will say, it is my absolute favorite plugin that exists. That is made by some nice folks called Delicious Brains, and SpinUp WP is one of their other plugins. I mention that because if you know how well MigrateDB Pro was built and how strong that is, this is built by the same people. So there's a lot going on behind this. So what I like about this, and I will just show you what the process looks like behind the scenes, because that I can show you. So when I need to start up a new website, it's as easy as a little 5-step little thing here where I say meetup2.j9s.com, hit next. It'll ask me if I want to, if I've already set up the DNS, which I typically just point, I use Cloudflare to just point it over there. And it'll tell me what I need to do. But so the process is literally just fill out a form, and about a minute later, you're all set. But then let me show you, I'm going to tell you both the good and the bad about why I love this, but how it may be a little bit, maybe not exactly what you want. So the good and the bad. Bear with me 1 second while I find, here we go. Okay, so this is the behind the scenes, like after you have a site created. You can, so the basic settings are, I've got my primary domain and I've set up the, I want also to grab www and have that, actually that should be a redirected primary, but that's okay. They also have a page level caching built in, and this, I will tell you, every single customer, every single customer that I've moved off of any other hosting and brought over here and turned to this on has gotten an increase in page speed. Every single one. I don't care where you host it. I don't care what you're running. This was a boost, flat out. HTTPS, it does, let's encrypt automatically. You don't need to do anything. Don't care about that. You can set up SFTP. Not only SFTP, but SSH. So once you add your SSH keys in here, it's as easy as giving somebody or giving multiple people access this way. So through the public key, I just have it. And so I can SSH in instantly. They just started this, which is really cool, which is Git access. So you can, let's say that you have all of your code stored in GitHub. You can basically turn this on, you set up a webhook, and it'll push automatically. I did set it up. It took me 10 minutes to get set up for one of the sites, but that was from never doing it before using your system. And the crap just works. It's awesome. I literally, as soon as you make a commit onto a specific, you can even lock it down to specific branches. It just goes, and the stuff, it was instant. Like it was one of the most exciting things. It was a very nerdy moment for me. I was like, oh, this is great. And then for backups, I actually push my backups out to AWS. So I pay $60 a month for 2 servers. I pay, I got locked in on a really good deal. I think I paid $12 or $18 a month for spin up WP, something like that. Depending on how many sites you have, that cost may go up a little bit. I pay Amazon about $12 a month for backups because of having 25 sites. It cost me about $12. What I do like about this is you can actually manage your backup settings. So you can have it say, I want you to back up the database. I want you to back up the files. If you were to list them all at the exact same time at 9 p.m., it's smart enough not to do them all at 9, and it will stack them and just do one at 9. It'll wait till that one finishes, then it'll do the next one, and then the next, and the next. I learned that the hard way when I accidentally load it all up at the exact same time. But it actually, it's fine, and it doesn't kill your server. But your storage settings, you can actually change. Where's the? Oh yeah, the retention period. So you don't even have to go to AWS to set up all of your rules over there. You can just set it up and point it to the right box, and then say, I want you to do this every 30 days. So all my backups record for 30 days, and then they drop off. So it's super handy. The one thing about all of this that is probably, if I had to have a gripe and would say is the negative in it, is the fact that the server does not send email at all. So I use Mailgun, mailgun.com. You have to, quote unquote, pay. You have to put a credit card on here. But unless you're sending 1,200 emails from your website a month, your cost is 0. And if you are sending 1,200, your cost would be 50 cents or something ridiculously stupid like that. I have all of my sites on there. It's nothing. I've never paid these people a dime, and it's a great service. Why I say it's a negative is because setting it up initially does require you to go set up like 6 DNS records at Cloudflare, and it takes 5-10 minutes. It's not that it's a huge deal. You do have to do it once, and once it's set up, it's done. But it is a little. I would put this hosting up against pretty much anybody. I currently don't have WP Rocket turned on my site. I was testing some other stuff, and I just wanted to see what my scores would be. So this is Vegas Geek. I'm using Cloudflare, and I'm using DigitalOcean with SpinUp WP's caching. A site that's fully built on Beaver Builder, which is this page builder with a whole lot of stuff. And if we look at GT metrics, you'll see I'd call those scores pretty good. So hard to complain about that. That's awesome. That was very nice. When I did this yesterday, it said 98. So thank you for the extra boost there, GT metrics, while on video. That was cool. It's very nice of it. So that's my hosting story. So there you go.
The droplets that you said from the Ocean Digital or Digital Ocean, those droplets, their term for hosting? I'm kind of missing.
It's like a box, yeah. It's like their server box. Yeah. So with the way that SpinUp WP works is you basically connect it. You connect it to your DigitalOcean account, and then it actually does the management for you. So I literally, the only times I ever log in to DigitalOcean is when like something is like that client that was getting gigantic amounts of traffic. I didn't realize what level of server he was going to need. So he set it up at one thing, and then all of a sudden he's like, why is my site down? And I went and looked, and the CPU was just pegged at 100%. I was like, oh, we need to fix that. So I bumped it up, and it took 8 minutes, I think, to bump it up to the next level. And then it was done. So basically you sign up for the account at DigitalOcean, connect your account to spin up WP, and you're done. You basically don't need to log back in there ever again.
And you said you're doing that now in lieu of WP Engine.
I'm doing that in lieu of SiteGround. I'm doing it in lieu of, the only reason I moved off of WP Engine was because I was just trying to put everything in one spot. So I was already paying for the box, and like I wasn't hosting anything at WP Engine that I didn't need 2 spots. This all actually came up because of that client that had the 1.5 million views. Like he was hosting at, actually he was hosting at WP Engine, and I think his bill was something like $2,500 a month. So that sucked. And then he was hosting at GoDaddy for a little while, which I don't even think I need to explain. But that was a very, very painful time of my life and his. And I had found this, and I'm like, let's just give it a shot. And then we ended up getting it set up. And then once it was dialed in for him, just kind of getting the right server level, it was cake. It was absolute cake. And we haven't had a problem since.
Can I ask why not SiteGround? What's the problem that you, because I'm actually thinking of transferring everything over to them. I've recommended a few clients and it's done pretty well.
And so have I.
So
I hosted at SiteGround for quite a long time. And I can tell you there's 2 reasons why not SiteGround. One is their pricing, which I never have a problem, like charge whatever you want. But the way that their pricing works is whatever you sign up for, at the end of the year, your price doubles. So that's just something to be aware of. As long as you know that and you're okay with it, cool, knock yourself out, go for it. However, the other problem is recently, I think within the past 4 or 6 months, they have basically removed WordPress from their support team. So if you have a problem with WordPress and call their support and say, I'm having a problem with WordPress, they say, we're a hosting company, you're on your own. We're not a WordPress managed host.
But they're calling, they have the plans that are WordPress managed and
that's what they say.
Managed, but they're not supporting it, you're saying.
Just recently they've dropped the support of it. They'll just send you, here's an article for you to do it yourself. We're not doing anything for you. Yep. I've also found, and I've been on the Go Geek, the Grow Big and Go Geek plans, and it used to be excellent support in seconds. Now it takes a while it still doesn't take long to connect. Yeah, you're connected with them, but you ask a question and then you see like the little ... like they're taking much longer to even acknowledge your question, and they're kind of really stepping through it very slowly, and not, so it's been a real waste of time, honestly, in trying to get some things handled. The pricing is another thing where they jack the prices up from unannounced. I searched back through my emails. There was no notification that there would be a price increase for the renewal. And like the one, it was like 56 every 3 months, and they bumped it up to 89, which might not sound like a lot, but like when you're not planning on an extra expense. And my last year, the Go Geek for SiteGround was about $100 for 1 year, and it's $489 for 1 year for the renewal. for the Go Geek. So when they bumped the price on one of them, because I had 2 different plans for 2 different reasons, but they jacked up the price, and I was like, hey, you didn't notify this. They're like, well, in our terms of service, we can raise the price at any time without notice. And that just sounds really sketchy to me. So
Liquid Web is another one that I have not used myself. Technically speaking, I did use them, but for a very short amount of time on a test website. But I haven't used them enough to actually say that I've used them. But I do know there's folks in this, Russ is not on, but Russ actually works at Liquid Web now. And they have managed WordPress hosting as well. I can't speak to it myself, but from a pricing standpoint, I would say that it's not terrible. One site for $20 a month, or if you pay annually for $190, so you get a couple months free there. Same with all of the others. So it really just depends on what you're. But for this right here, for $14.90 for 25 sites, what I like about this a lot is that they don't have the page count stipulation the WP Engine does. So I'm a big fan of that. So if not SiteGround, and if you don't want to do it the other, this is probably be my third.
What's your thoughts on DreamHost? That's
No,
where I
thank
am
you.
right now.
Yeah,
But
no, thank you.
yeah.
I'll pass.
I went by, but now it's like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of clients, and that's a bit of an issue. The one thing that I was looking at SiteGround, it looked nice, was you can buy a developer, and then they say you can build the site and just poof right off, just transfer them right off. I'd rather either develop on their hosting plan already or have an easy transfer.
I know a bunch of people that work at Bluehost or DreamHost, or technically speaking, both. Very nice folks. They've been sponsors of some of my events. I have not had good experiences with them hosting at all. So I just can't. I love the people, don't love the service. And if you work there, I apologize.
With SiteGround as well, I had a client that I turned on to it last year, and she's switching off because also the support has declined. But they messed up one of her sites somehow. I don't know exactly. I just turned her onto it, and she was managing things her end, and it wasn't anything I was taking care of for her. So I don't know the specifics of, but she was really pretty pissed at SiteGround. And I have another client that has SiteGround that the phone support, they've stopped the phone support. He was used for whatever he was trying to call in for. And even for myself yesterday, I was trying to get a hold of them, and I was out and about, and I'm trying to find them on the phone, and they've moved things around that I thought it was very easy to use last year, but over the course of this past year, they've moved things around a lot, and I do not find it as intuitive as I used to.
Can I ask a question? Does anybody lease a VPS and charge from there? For example, I've been web hosting since the mid 1990s. I used to have Windows web servers in my office with T1 lines and dial-up modems, and I've done every single web hosting company we've talked about tonight, and they all have pros and cons. I have, in the last few years, gone out and leased VPSs, and then I charge my clients from there. I actually do their hosting.
Yeah.
So when a client comes to me for any type of website, I prefer WordPress, but they will pay me the web hosting fee, and I'm paying pennies compared to what everybody else has been talking about tonight for this VPS server, and making $9.95, $14.95, or $19.95 per month off of my clients. Are other people doing that? John, I clearly understand you have the technical know-how to do that, but I'm just kind of curious why other people aren't doing the VPS. I understand the cloud and everything's going towards the cloud, but
Yeah.
I still lease the old school box, and
Yeah.
it's working great for me.
And I've done that. I have done it back in the day. But I will tell you that with my DigitalOcean server, I basically do what you do, which is I have clients who I host their websites for them and I manage their sites for them. And I just put them onto that box. And that's why I pay a diligent attention to what the, all of the CPU usages and memory usages, just making sure that those are not going above about 50%. And if they are, I just pop open a new one of those. I have gone the route of actual hardware in the past. And for me personally, it's the exact same reason why, like way back in the day, I used to love building computers. You go to Fry's, you buy all of the different pieces, you come home, you build it, and it's fun, and your hands are dirty, and you're in there, right? It's awesome.
Yep. Still do it.
You know what else I enjoy? Saturdays. Like those are super cool. So now I just buy an Apple, and it shows up. I plug it in, and it turns on, and the crap just works. So, and if it breaks, I take it over to a store, and they fix it, and they're not like, "Oh, well, you built this, so you go fix it." So, to answer your question, that's why I don't do it that way. I have, and it's just not my game anymore.
Yeah, let me rephrase. So the VPS that I'm leasing is a managed VPS that's optimized for WordPress. I don't have to do any of the PHP upgrades, the security upgrades, the backups. All that's being done for me in the back. Now, I offer those services as a maintenance plan for my clients if they want to do more than the monthly backup that the web server does, if they want daily, weekly, whatever. And I add those as enhancements. But my VPS server, again, is a managed VPS server, and it's optimized for WordPress. And I have yet to have an issue, and I have a few dozen websites on it. My only issue is there's a possibility of run up against hard drive space. So that's my only limitation. No traffic, no domains, no URL limitations. I do have to pay extra if the client wants a dedicated IP, but I do get a certain amount of dedicated IPs. And most of my clients don't need cPanel access.
Right.
So if I need extra cPanels, it's $5 a month now. It didn't used to be that way. It was free before.
Right.
But for the most part, I'm not running any of those issues. And when you were showing your setup, I was very impressed, by the way. All of that's handled with inside my control panel, so to speak. I do the emails, unlimited emails. I don't have to have a separate website. I do the DNS, other than, of course, the domain registrar if we have to go to GoDaddy or whoever else. But I do all the DNS, MX records, Google MX within one control panel. And a lot of that reason is because I'm teaching friends and family how to manage this. So if I ever get to retire, wink, wink, they can do some of this. So again, I'm very impressed, John, with what you have set up. But my concern is you've got a lot of different applications or websites you have to manage, which is great, and you're cost efficient. But I'm wondering if I'm gonna bottleneck myself. I'm wondering if, because I'm using the old school server, is that going to cause me issues going forward? I know about the cloud. I've researched it in and out. I'm very familiar with Azure and AWS.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's the right choice for me right now. But am I missing something?
Here's the thing, man. When you ask me like who should I use as hosting, the only thing I can tell you is like what I have actual experience with, right?
Fair enough. Gotcha.
Also, you asked, or Dilsa asked about DreamHost, and I know so many people who host at DreamHost and have never had a problem. I've hosted at DreamHost and I've never had a good experience. So
gotcha.
There's also no one answer for everything. So depending, like if you had 50 sites that were all getting 10 visitors a month, like you can host that thing in a shoebox and it's not going to matter, right? Like it's just not a big deal. But if you have a client who's getting 1.5 million visitors a month in his slow time, like I wouldn't. You did say it was managed, and like there are people that you could call if stuff like started, smoldering. And really, that's kind of why I'm fine to pay other folks, other services, where, yeah, technically speaking, I am the quote unquote hosting company for about 15 different people, but I have somebody I can call who can kind of take care of the stuff if something breaks. So yeah. Do I think that you're doing it wrong? Heck no, absolutely. Is it working for you? Yeah, it's working for you. Keep doing it. If it doesn't work for you, or if you run into something that's kind of outside of what you feel comfortable doing, you move on. You try the next thing. Like I said, I used to have two pizza boxes in a co-location facility that I was hosting sites off of back in the day. So yeah, man, it's whatever works for you at that time.
Very cool. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
If I may, I run a bunch of servers on AWS, and you can save a lot of money doing it, but my recommendation is learn how to make backups, because you will nuke your sites guaranteed as you learn how to do it. So as long as you learn how to restore from backups first, then go for it.
Yeah. And I've tried that too. I love the idea of AWS. I think AWS is kind of it's super interesting. I was actually even looking at kind of trying to become AWS certified, and it turns out that is way more hours than I have able to dedicate currently. But AWS is gigantic. It's not just, oh, hey, here's some web stuff, and here's some of this, and here's some of that. Like if you go to their control panel, it's like they've got 200 different things that you can do on there. It's gigantic. So even as a guy who, relatively speaking, knows what he's doing, like I have to go follow somebody else's lead on how to get all of that stuff set up. But I love the concept. And actually, that was kind of the very before we ended up moving to the DigitalOcean box with SpinUp WP. And by the way, it was actually SpinUp WP that kind of brought me to DigitalOcean. I had learned about this tool from Delicious Brains, and I'm like, I just kind of want to give it a shot, because I knew how much I liked all of the other stuff that they've done. They actually have another plugin of theirs that is also super ridiculously helpful, which is WP Offload. Can I find it here? Yeah, their offload media plugin. Again, that client with all of the traffic, he also had something in the neighborhood of 6 gigabytes worth of media in his media library, which means daily backups for those are gigantic. So my cost on AWS was really growing. So we got this plugin, this offload media, and I had him sign up through AWS, and their plugin just basically sends all of his media out there, and it's handled without me even having to think about it. So as soon as you add something new into the media library on WordPress, it pushes it straight out to AWS and redoes all of the URLs on the other end, on the WordPress end. So pretty handy.
Oh, and another thing, if you try doing this on your own and you run into some technical issue that you just can't figure out, which you guaranteed will, go on Upwork and offer somebody $20 to solve the problem for you, and they'll fix it in 10 seconds. As long as you can describe what your problem is, somebody can solve it for $20 on Upwork.
Even with the new cloud services, the AWS?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you can describe any problem on AWS or Google Cloud or Azure or something like that, if you can articulate what your problem is, someone can solve it in 5 minutes for $20.
That's good to know, because I want to try the cloud. I'm just apprehensive. And when I do search on Google, there's not a whole lot yet, because the cloud's still fairly new.
Yeah, offer that $20 bill, they come running.
Did you guys know that there's a new version of WordPress rushing our way? Should be here, I believe, by the end of the year. Sometime early December, I think. 5.6. I was trying to find what the list of new features was. So they're doing a lot of, obviously they're doing a lot of things with Gutenberg with blocks and whatnot. They're moving menus to blocks, automatic updates for major WordPress releases. I don't know if you've noticed that, but now when you go to, let's go to the Meetup, J9S. I don't know if you've seen this yet, but if you go into your dashboard and you go to plugins, there are, down the right-hand side, there's your ability to, so if you have any plugins that you just trust implicitly to not break your website, you can just turn on auto update and you never have to think about this site again. If there's an update to be had, it'll run the update. For all of my clients, I strongly suggest that they don't do this. I'm not a big fan of it, only because I'm a developer. I've been developing for 25 years, give or take. I broke something on my live site today at work. It happens. It just happens. Do I want somebody else doing this and pushing updates to my site just whenever? No, I don't. I don't care. I will come in, I'll make a backup. I do backups every day for all my clients, but I will come in and I will just run all of the updates because 99 times out of 100, everything's going to be just fine. But I will run all of those while I'm sitting here running them so that I can immediately following load up the homepage, make sure it still comes up. I can load up the contact form, make sure it still comes up. Load up the checkout screen, make sure it still comes up. Hey, cool, your site's all ready to go. If this particular plugin, for whatever reason, broke something, I'm sure there are fallback things in place, but that just does not give me warm fuzzies at this particular point. If you have a mission critical website, I'm much more of the team. Let me do the updates for you, pal. Like, you go do your thing, and I'll, instead of building a new computer, I'll run updates, and I'm fine with that. So. But they are now looking at giving you the opportunity to also do major WordPress updates. So when 5.6 comes out, it'll just upgrade for you automatically. Years ago, I was at a WordCamp somewhere, I don't even remember where, and Matt Mullenweg was talking about, like, he basically sees WordPress getting to the point of something like a Google Chrome, where Google Chrome just updates in the background and you don't even know it. And I'm like, you know, that's all well and good, but if Chrome breaks, I don't stop making money. I don't have people yelling at me that their site is down. So, yeah, that's that. Block editors, widget editing through the customizer, which I think is going to be a good thing. There is a new default theme coming. If we could find it. How do we find it? It's not on this page. Okay. So this is the new theme. Oh, what do we got going on here? All right, we're in a rabbit hole now, so I don't know where this is going to go. I haven't done this before.
That's Figma.
Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. It's Figma. So yeah, so this is the default theme. This is very much WordPress moving towards letting the theme kind of handle things like colors and fonts and maybe some spacing issues, and letting the block editor take care of all of the content. Interesting. I've not installed it yet and messed with it. I should do that these days. So there you go. All right. So yeah, so WordPress 5.6 will be coming out, I think. Like, it's already up to beta 3, which means you're going to get a release candidate here. If you are interested in running the latest, actually, we could do this real quick. Yeah, we got some time. Let's go to plugins. So I will throw this warning up right now, which is do not do what I'm about to do on a live website that you use for making money. But nope.
Maybe 2 words.
Let's try that. Okay, here it is. This is a plugin called WordPress Beta Tester, and what this will allow you to do is very, very easily run the latest versions of WordPress. So if you go over to the, where's it at? It is under dashboard, you go to updates. You have, you're using development version. Where do I set the settings? Under tools, go to beta testing. And you can do a point release, which is fairly safe, but this is the fun one. Bleeding edge. This is basically the very last update that was pushed into, but you can also do nightlies. But bleeding edge is, this is, you can pretty much expect your site to be broken every now and again, especially early in the build cycle. We're kind of late into it, like they're already at beta 3, so we're good here. Let's see. I do that. I go to updates. Do I need to run the update? All right, we are on 5.7 early. Let's go turn on the new theme. There it is. Well, it's clean. What's the footer look like? All right, so we've got some widgets down here. I like the pagination. Fun. Clean, okay. Let's go to the customizer, see what we got going on over here. Site identity, if I want to upload a logo, sure. Ooh, dark mode. Yes, nerdy, I like it. Just pick a color. Background images, sure, let's use one. See what that does. Whoa, let's not do that. Okay, that's better. Menus. Let's go to widgets. Here we go. All right. Footer widgets. All right, let's go take a look at our footer. All right, so this is interesting. So what this is showing me here is that this footer is actually just stacking these Let's see if it's okay. It is keeping them to a three across. But if I were to remove search, yeah, it's just kind of like looping them in. So you can just kind of, if you wanted only one row, you could do that easily. Let's get rid of comments. We don't need comments, and we probably don't need meta. We never need meta. There we go. So there's a nice clean recent posts, some archives, etc. Nice. Excerpt settings, that's fine. Sweet. Here's our site. What's it look like on mobile? Let's go throw a logo in there. Give me 1 second, just gotta pop this over here for a sec. Documents. Nope. I will not have any logos to use. There we go. All right. Sorry about that. We'll just throw that in place. Oh, here, skip copy. There we go. Fun. Put it back in dark mode. Did I do that? Oh, it is in dark mode. Okay, cool. Here's a new website. So the dark mode is for editing. That's interesting. All right. What happens if I log out? Do this as a user. All right, I'm not gonna lie, I do like this. I like the header with the logo in the middle. That's kind of fun. All right, so there you go. There's 5.6. So you can have this in, well, I mean, technically speaking, you can have it right now if you don't mind possibly creating your website for short periods of time.
John, are you using a plugin for that lorem ipsum content? How do you get the default content up there?
All of this here? Yes, good question. I'll show you. There's a fantastic plugin for doing that. It is called FakerPress. So what you can do, eventually, let's see. Oh yeah, so you go to posts, and you can say, I need 15, and I want you to date them sometime this year. But actually, if you do this and you leave it with the date in the future, it'll actually create some that are scheduled. So I want these to be posts. Come down here, categories, taxonomies, can have tags and categories. I don't have any category. I only have uncategorized, but you can actually choose which category. If you do have some categories, you could choose which ones you want it to go into, just like this. So you can set up all of these, then you hit generate. And if you use the images, it will use placehold.it and lorem ipsum. But it is not a 100% perfect solution. I'll show you what I mean by that in just a second. Cool. So it generated all of these new posts for me. So if I go over here to posts, you can see all of these. Hold on, I'm going to install a plugin real quick. This is one of my go-to plugins, Admin Columns. I don't know if you've used this, but it's amazing. So if I go to Settings and go to Tools, where is it? Settings. All right, where the heck is it? Posts. Huh, apparently it's only right there. Admin Columns, Settings. I'm going to add a new column. I want it to show the featured image. And I want that to be the first thing. Hit save. Get post screen. Okay. So a lot of the images don't end up being like cool, pretty images like this. They end up being these gray boxes. So sometimes what I'll do is, when that's the case, I'll come in and I'll delete these and then just do it again, and then just keep doing it until I get like 2 pages worth that have nice images. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. So FakerPress, it's super simple. And I actually, while I was just showing that to you, I learned something that I don't know that I knew before. If you just go to the main FakerPress page, apparently you can erase it all. Holy crap, that worked. Let's go add some posts back. You can also do this on pages too. So if I were to say, whoa, that's too many, don't do that. I wonder if, let's go to these images. I wonder if I just lock it down to only that one. Let's try that. By the way, if you use advanced custom fields a whole bunch for projects, that plugin that I was just showing you, Admin Columns, they have an Admin Columns Pro on there available that is just absolutely ridiculous, the amount of cool stuff that you can do with it. You can actually set up like inline editing straight from your straight from the post view. And if this will finish, I'll actually show you what I'm talking about. Apparently it's really, I only said 20. It's not like I said 200. All right, there we go. So if we go to posts, yeah, there we go. Now we have all images. Okay, so anyway, with Admin Columns Pro, you can actually make it so that you can do inline editing. By turning this on, oh, that's not gonna, I don't have the Pro version installed here, but yeah, you can basically turn stuff on and off like right here. And so if you wanted to just change out the tags, or if you had advanced custom fields, you can actually edit your metadata as well, all right in line. It's super fantastic. It's another one of those no-brainer purchases for buy the developer license, use it wherever you want. All right. Do you have any more questions? Bring it.
I got a question, John.
Yeah. Hey, Hal.
How you doing?
I'm well.
Good. It's probably a simple question for everybody but me. In Yoast, the SEO title, where you put your title in there and stuff and hope to rate better on Google, is headliner, like if you do a Google search and then the headline there, is the headline And the SEO title, is that the same, basically? Is that, if that makes sense?
Let's go install Yoast real quick.
Okay.
Ooh, fancy. Ooh, all right. Yoast.
So if you go to SEO right
Uh-huh.
there and then scroll down. Yeah,
So the title here?
I think, yeah, so I guess it would be the SEO title.
Yes.
So when you put all your information in there or whatever you want for the title there,
Mm-hmm.
and when you go to Google, say you use Google and this page comes up, that with the blue right there, yeah, would that be considered the headline?
Correct.
Okay. I thought it was, but I was just, because I'm getting ready to do some updates. So my headline or SEO title has a better rating.
Okay.
With the
Yep. So the way that this works by default, so these are variables. So it's using the title, which is, this is the blog post title, or the post title, and then this is, or if you were on a page, you would be using the page title. It's flip-flopping because there is no title and page, and you're getting one or the other. Then you're getting a separator, which is the little hyphen there, and then the site title, which is, in my case, Meetup. So if I were to back that up, I could do this and have it bring in just the page title, or I can get rid of everything and say, this is my custom title Rose page, which obviously is terrible. That's okay. And I could also change the slug if I wanted the slug to be different. If you're going to do this, I believe by default this will generate a redirect to the actual slug, because you would not be changing the slug of the actual page. The permalink.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Nikes, I lied. Look at that. You see that?
Yeah, only on the pro version.
Ah, so if you use the pro version, it'll let you do both?
Correct.
Interesting.
Oh, that's good to know. I didn't know that.
But the one that I would say you probably want to mess with the most is probably your meta description, because your meta description by default is going to pull in the first chunk of data that it finds on the content area. So this is some customized content that I totally butchered this one, but that's okay. This is some customized content to show to search results. So do not go keyword stuffing. Google hates that. Do more harm than good. But you can do that here, and this is going to be for what your Google results are. And then you can come over here to the social, and you can do the exact same thing, but on a Facebook title and description. And if you were to use the Yoast Premium, then you would actually get a preview of that like you get this. You can also get one for Facebook. But you can set a specific Facebook image and a specific Twitter image and whatnot. So for those shares. So yeah.
Yeah, I like Yoast a lot. I have the Yoast Pro, but I'd never tried to change the slug, or the slug. So
yeah,
that's good to know. So
when I write content, my entire SEO strategy is write as if you're talking to your buddy, and I don't know. That's all I really do.
That's a good strategy. Google appreciates that, John.
I'm lazy also, so
Well,
the idea of going back and rewriting it, that seems like work.
The Google logarithms for the spiders are getting to the point where it's trying to be more humanized. So like you just said, write it to your buddy. Google will appreciate that.
Which means I typically swear a lot in my posts.
Maybe not that, but you know what I mean. Nice catch.
I watched a WebAir today. It was about emotion, talk with emotions, and it was Talia Wolf. It was pretty good. So.
Yeah, I think there's a lot. I really need to get back into writing more often. I'm so bad about it. My problem is I'm always like, oh, I never have anything to write about. But like, I could totally write up the stuff that I showed off today. Like it's good content. Like people can use that. There's a gigantic cat attacking you, Joan. You all right? Good.
You can use the transcripts from the chat transcripts
Oh, yeah.
to,
Good.
to give you a head
You're
start.
gonna make me write, aren't you? All right. It's a good idea. I need to do it.
Presentation of where he would do the voice to text to just blog that way.
Yep, I know.
So hang on, Darcy. What do you mean by that? I'm fairly new to Zoom. Does that mean that when you're doing a Zoom meeting, there's a Zoom voice to transcript already built into the Zoom meeting?
I'm not sure if there is one, but you can save the chat as well as you can save the audio. And there's a lot of things like otter.ai, OTTER.ai, and some other.
What is it?
Otter.io. It's either AI or .io, which is a very good transcription.
I can't imagine that's right.
Another thing that I've done is from some of mine, I'll upload to YouTube in a private, like an unpublished private, because you can do, I'll upload my Zoom video to YouTube and then export because YouTube will auto transcribe.
Oh, I forgot about that. Great idea. Thank you.
You definitely need to go back through because it's not perfect.
Of course.
Rev.com. I knew it was Rev.com.
Yeah, Rev.com is approximately $1 a minute. So there's.
Well, they do have a cheaper version. So they're
getting more competitive now with everybody else coming out with stuff, I guess.
Yeah. So when you look at their pricing, their top line was $1.25, but they actually have what was it? Am I not seeing it anymore? I could have swore they had one where it was like, it's a much, like this is, well,
yeah,
it's in here somewhere. I feel like there's one that was like 20 cents. It was like 20 cents a minute or something like that.
Yeah, Otter had free for a while. I'm not sure if they still have up to X number of minutes. But YouTube, like I said, has been pretty useful for one approach.
Otter.ai maybe? Yes.
Otter.ai? Yeah.
Maybe it's this one's. But yeah, I mean, any of these services that kind of do this one.
Has different deals periodically. There's a lot of people, especially with everybody being online now and schools and so forth, how do we transcribe? I'm looking at options because I go to an international church that's, to get the translation, I'm looking for more options because Google Translate only catches some of it. And I'd like to be able to, because our translator's not always on, so there's a lot of things you could do. There are
Can I make a quick contribution?
I think Rev.
Sure.
Oh, go ahead.
What's that, King?
Oh no, yes, exactly. I'm sorry, Darcy. I don't mean to cut you off. I thought you were finished speaking. My apologies.
You're fine.
Thank you. I am new to this whole group, and I see that we're about to wrap up. And I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Franklin, and this is my first day around. Thank you very much. I did see your posts before the COVID. I think I registered, but was not able to go through because of everything that happened. I may be the least experienced among you guys, so I have learned a lot, and that's why I have been silent. Most of what you guys have been talking, it may be either Chinese or German to me. However, I think I know some of the language. I have been dabbling around this whole thing for quite a while. I have actually done a few Wix websites. Think I still have some. I really have never got my hands dirty, as in like being having the courage to publish anything. Now I'm a little old school in the sense that I would maybe not literally need somebody to hold my hands to get me through. Um, Not in that sense, but I guess you guys know what I'm saying, and that's why I actually decided to join this group. I have so much material that I think I could start with. However, I don't know what it is that's not making me start. I guess maybe it's the old school thing about collaboration and maybe coaching and things like that. I just wanted to introduce myself. I know we don't have a lot of time. This is all I have to say for now. I have learned so much, and I am grateful that you guys accepted me in the group. Thank you.
So I will show you if you go to posts, you install WordPress and you go to posts and you click on add new and you fill in this box, it's going to show up right anytime now. You fill in this box right over here with some content, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a button right up here. It says publish.
Okay.
Just keep smashing that thing. If you need to get started, that's it. There's no better way than start getting your thoughts out there, man. It's powerful. Like if you can get into a point where you start.
I know. That's the point. That's the sweet
there
spot,
it is.
I guess.
There's your takeaway right there. It's that publish button. That's the one for you. So just keep hitting that, and you'll be doing good.
So would this be an assignment for me?
There you go. I don't typically hand out homework, but maybe this time. I don't know.
I certainly will. I'll try to definitely give this a shot.
All right, and then next month when you come, you have to let us see the website so we can take a look.
Well, that's a challenge. Since I know that I have that, I think I'm really going to do something, at least.
King, just a reminder that John has the half-hour consult that
Yes.
I like it.
I just heard about that.
You're my sales department.
I just heard about that, and I think it's something that I definitely could use.
John, drop the link.
Go to vegasgeek.com. It's right up there.
I think I saw that too. Yes, I don't need to take too much more of you guys' time. I think you guys are wrapping up, yeah?
Are you kidding? I just talked for like an hour and a half. You can have a couple of minutes. You're fine.
I appreciate that. At least it gives you a little time to breathe.
Right. Just keep drinking water.
All right. Okay.
Anybody else before we wrap up? Darcy?
Well, Lydia's still here. I'd like to nominate her to do a presentation next month, just in terms of like design. There's every year there's kind of different look, feel of website. Ooh. And like the one thing that's really popular right now is those, I forget what they call, where there's just kind of like South Park type images, or like scrap paper put together kind of things, like as opposed to real images, and like soft pastels and the bubble. But I feel like a lot of websites all look the same now because they're all going with those elements. And it'd be cool to hear Lydia, who's a good designer, to talk on how to follow design trends but still have a unique image style that you're branding yourself and not just looking like everybody else.
Yeah, Lydia.
Wow. Great shout out, Darcy. Thanks. That's so sweet. That's a great question, actually, which I'd be happy to noodle over. I think I know what you mean. I've seen kind of this illustration trend that I see everywhere, like MailChimp, and then a lot of the sites that were mentioned tonight, like I looked at them and all the illustration is like the same style. Is that kind of what you mean, or just the general like layout of like there's a giant hero and like a funky shape or something?
Go for you got a month, whatever you think would apply. But yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts on that. There is that design trend right now, and I just don't see it. I don't like it personally anyway, so I hope it goes away quick. But I just feel like every site looks the same right now, and I don't know. So what would be your take on following that design trend but personalizing it?
Yeah. Well, challenge accepted. I will think about that. Here comes my cat in the background. He's excited about your proposal. But yeah, I can definitely think about that, Darcy, and I'll try to come up with something usable by people. I know not everybody's a designer, so I don't want to alienate people. Or
my favorite, when I go to WordCamps, my favorite talks are almost always the design track. I am not a designer, but I always pick stuff up from them. So believe me, if you were to come in and talk about design, you would be just fine.
I will second that, John. I'm not a designer either, and I really look forward to hearing from designers. I do a lot of SEO, and I do know that in May or March or May of next year, Google is going to frown upon that big hero graphic at the top of most websites. So I'm kind of curious how design is going to change over the next several months, given the consideration that Google might not like the typical big hero graphic that scrolls down the page.
I'm actually going to share my screen for one more second because I do want to show you. I've been putting together a tool here. Hold on, let me. Where are we at? So I use this tool called Notion for collecting data. And so I can share. I can share this link. Did I put it in the chat already? If it didn't, I will. There you go. So I put it in the chat. But this right here is just kind of a collection of different things that I use. This particular page, the actual page that I shared, is my WordPress stuff based on tags. But if you come down here. This is not, yes, okay. I don't know why this is in gallery view. I think I was showing somebody something. But this is not just WordPress stuff. And if you go to, you can find one in here, there's design tools. I really like icons, so I try to find a lot of different icons. How do I get to, come on. Well, let's just search. There we go. So design. So yeah, like Icons 8, Mini Pixels, Undraw, PicDrift. PicDrift is interesting, and Undraw. And I think these are kind of, these are pretty interesting in that you can come into here and, Darcy, is this exactly what you're talking about? So, for everything that you hate about it, I gotta tell you, I freaking love this thing. I absolutely love it. I don't know if you know this, but you can actually put in your own color and it'll update them all to your own color. So I am totally, this is why you need somebody like Lydia to come in and say, no, John, you're doing it wrong, you idiot. But I couldn't make this any quicker. I couldn't do one of these any better or quicker. So, you know, for a guy who spends his time building, this is okay with me. So, sorry. I know. I just totally, you're like, this is terrible. And I'm like, this is the best. So.
Oh, that's great. That's a
terrible.
Good reason for, you know, probably why it is popular to a degree, but it's just, they all look, everybody's looks the same.
They do. They all look the same.
Yeah.
But if you do need something quick and dirty, holy cow, it's hard to beat. Hard to beat. Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of like I have looked at using Undraw before, and I kind of moved on because it just felt like it was only good for like one particular website. And if you were making that exact website, like I don't know, like if you were making Notion, you know,
Right.
like as a software, these are the things that you would use, like if you were trying to promote Notion. But if you weren't doing that and you were just building a small business website, which is like 99% of what I do, it's just like not for that use case. So it just depends what you're doing, I think.
So pick drift is actually something slightly different, and this will end after this. It's already after 8. I've been at my desk since 7 this morning. So this is a ridiculously cool service. You send them a flat image, and they will turn it into something like this. And it costs $40. We did this for a client. It is awesome. However, the image, the video was something like 8 meg. So it was a bit much. It was like a 20-second, but we clipped it down to about 8 seconds. And I mean, it's still big, don't get me wrong, but man, if you don't have to worry about page speed for something, and you just want something that is kind of super cool and super different, I think that's a pretty cool look as a background. So, but they've got some interesting ones.
It's really cool, John. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah. Again, for a lazy guy like me who's just not a designer, like I'm not going to make a video like that. Like there's just no way.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's super cool because if you did that yourself in After Effects, it would take, well, I'm not a video person, so I can't make that either. But I know that it would take me a long time to try to do that in After Effects. So that's pretty great if you can get that for $40 or whatever.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, this isn't something that you're going to do on every page or on every site even, but if you have like just that right project that just needs something that's going to just really stand out, I mean, that's pretty crazy. So, yeah. All right. I've kept you all long enough.
That you get the resources that you were just.
One more time?
The link you said you'd drop a link of the resources that you were just showing us.
Oh yeah, I put it in the, well, I did, but what I did was I sent it privately to Ron. Sorry. There you go. Now it's in the chat.
Well, I feel special. Thank you.
Yeah, man. That's all you. You get to tell everybody about all
I
this
was
stuff.
checking it out, loving it too. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And if you haven't messed with Notion, holy cow, just stop what you're doing and just jump into Notion. Self-referencing databases is the thing that I'm learning about in Notion right now, which is...
I would love to see you do a whole talk just on Notion, John. I know it's like not a WordPress specific thing, but
I could talk about Notion.
That would be super
days. Cool. I'm so... What? Wow,
like
boy.
Content for your website, John.
Damn it. All right, so I'm going to show you one other thing about. All right, we are done talking about WordPress. So if you're here just for the WordPress content, it was nice seeing you. Have a good night. We're going to switch over to Notion for just a second. There is a site called super.so, and this will let you. So that page that I showed you with this here, if I wanted to actually turn this into like a website and just have it as a URL, you can do that through super.so, and their pricing is like, that's like $4 a month or something like that. But they handle the domain, and then it's, so let's see, the Notion bar. I saw a video by this lady the other day. And so this whole website is literally just her Notion page. So she built out this template, and she actually sells templates on her site. So this whole thing is literally just Notion. But she's kind of done some just amazing stuff with her layouts, and she's really big into using these toggles, and it's so smart because she includes her Spotify playlists or request a template. She's got a whole form embedded right in here. So these are totally things that I just would not have thought about. Okay, this woman is brilliant. Awesome. Good to know. Let's see, where's the tools, not the maker, oh, quick links. Maybe it was the quick links. Let me get to her templates. Ah, there we go, my templates. So she's actually built templates for a whole bunch of different projects that you can buy from her. And most of hers are like pay what you want. So you could pay $2 or $10 or whatever you think it's worth. There we go. Here's your templates. So here's her personal reading room. There's a podcast bar, this thing called the happiness bar. But you can click on one of these and then go buy it on here. But she does all these like little insert videos. Just the way that she uses Notion and just kind of lays out all of the content so awesomely. Like, maybe I don't need WordPress. Maybe I'll just run all my sites on Notion from now on. I'm just kidding. It's not happening. But for the right project, I think I've shown you I redid, like after watching the video with her, I ended up redoing my book template because I learned how poorly I was doing one of the things. Pop open. So my books for, just grab this real quick. Copy the link. So these are all of the books that I've read in 2020. And actually here, I'll pop you into Notion and just show you what I did over here. I'm gonna close that. Except I need it open long enough to get to books. So one of the things, okay, so here's the 2021 books, which I haven't started reading yet, obviously. But when you're looking at this, I was able to set the filters based on a completion date. Because before I had like a whole thing where I had to put them into an order and give it like an order ID so that I could list them into the proper order, and which is just dumb because now all I need to do is when I add a new book, I put the book title here, drop the cover in here, and say that I completed it on today's date, whatever. And this book is just going to automatically show up at the top of the list because that's how the sort order is set by completion date descending. So over on the filter, I completed on or after January 1st and on or before December 31st, 2020. Done. Super simple. Made my life like ridiculously easy. So yeah, if you haven't started messing with formulas, you can see I started moving things like banking and stuff into there, but you can do so much with the formulas related stuff. It's just ridiculous. Let me tweet this. Yeah, anything you want to know about Notion, save it up, send me a note, and I will gladly, maybe I'll put it on Twitch. It'll be my very first Twitch video that has followers. Yeah, I think Notion, if you haven't used it, I use the web clipper now in Chrome to send stuff into a triage bucket. So these are just, I'll put notes in here. But yeah, so these are just different things where, actually it's funny because almost all of my clippings right now have to do with Notion, so you can tell what's on my mind lately. But I'll find stuff that's in here and then I'll just move it. Like once I decide whether or not I am going to keep it, I'll either read it and throw it away, or if I want it, I'll just put it into like that resources bucket with all of the other WordPress stuff. What was this one? WordPress plugins? Something tells me that was wrong. Notion setup video, WP CLI, and then a whole bunch of just how to use toggles, link to new templates. Oh yeah, Super SO, custom hosting. This is awesome. So, all right, I'm exhausted. It's been a long day, including breaking our live website. So that's all I got.
Thank you, John. It was great.
Yeah.
I learned a lot.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Thank
Happy
you all.
Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
We'll do this again next month.
Yes,
All right.
thank you.
Lydia.
We'll do this next month with Lydia.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
When is the date for that?
Third Wednesday of December.
Cool.
That's a big I don't know. So whatever the third Wednesday
Yeah.
is. But yeah,
will-
if you're interested, I mean, we'd love to have you.
Sure. I mean, I don't know if I can make that into a full. I
You
don't want
see
to talk
how-
about design for 2 hours, but I could talk
No,
for
no,
like
no, of
a
course
half
not.
an hour or something.
Yeah, absolutely. 15 minutes, 30 minutes, like whatever. Doesn't matter.
December 16th.
December
So
16th.
would be
December
the
15th.
The 16th.
1/6.
Oh, 16th. Cool. Thanks, Darcy.
Yeah.
You're like Yogi Bear right now.
My company mascot. So I
Oh yeah.
a little fun. Go Mama Bear with a gun.
Well done.
Reach your business.
Night,
Nice.
everybody.
All right. Good night, y'all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey,
For King.
Bye.
Where are you from originally? Oh,
He's
Does anyone
from
know-
not here. Is where he's from. I don't know.
Huh?
I said he's just from
I'm
not here.
curious where King was from originally.
oh,
All right.
yeah.
You have questions for next month. All right. Good night.